One very important is antenatal steroids, as these patients are at risk of developing this preterm labor. As we all know, this the steroid is given for lung maturity in cases where we expect preterm delivery. CDC recommends avoiding glucocorticoids for general population, but for pregnant ladies we have to think twice. So American College of Obs and Gynae says because of clear benefits of betamethasone, it is to be administered between 24 to 34 weeks, like 24 plus 0 to 33 plus 6 weeks up to 34 weeks gestation in confirmed or suspected case with high risk of delivery within 7 days, considering the benefit of this drug. But of course, between 34 to 37 weeks, it is not considered to give this drug, because even the efficacy is not very much in the next 7 days, and the fetus is not at very much risk of prematurity. Then comes about low dose aspirin. If the patient is already on aspirin and she is low risk, there we can continue, but the decision to continue the drug is to be individualized for confirmed cases because of the possible negative effect of NSAIDs. Then for tocolysis, if the patient is at risk of developing preterm labor, of course nifedipine can be used safely. Now, follow-up of patients who recover from COVID-19. This can be done by ultrasonography to assess fetal growth a few weeks following recovery, especially in patients with severe illness. Yeah, of course, in mild illness also we have to monitor by ultrasound after a few weeks of recovery. In ultrasound, we also see the placental part, because chances of placental thrombosis is there, and as part of the disease, and the fetus is at risk of developing IOGR because of maternal and subsequently fetal hypoxia during the pregnancy part. Then timing delivery in infected patients. For most patients with non-severe illness and no medical or obstetric indication for prompt delivery, delivery is not indicated to be done in a short period. It is done only for medical or obstetric indication. Women with severe illness, timing of delivery needs to be individualized. Like for hospitalized patients with pneumonia and not intubated, some advocate delivery is to be done between 32 to 34 weeks, as after the delivery there are even a little bit more chances of recovering from this respiratory discomfort or respiratory distress. But timing of delivery of hospitalized patients who are intubated and critically ill is very challenging, whether we have to keep the fetus in utero, as chances even after delivery the chances of survival of fetus is grim, and the complications, chances of increasing the complications to mother is much more. Then comes management of labor and delivery. Evaluation of all patients presenting to labor and delivery unit for admission. Of course, they should be evaluated. Screening by thermometer and testing of all patients is appropriate. Then use of PPE. You must be knowing the term PPE, that is personal protective equipment. PPE to be used in labor and delivery room. During active labor, there are concerns of viral dissemination when the patient is forcefully exhaling. So, all clinicians and nursing staff who is attending the delivery should wear PPE, and for the care of COVID-19 patients, in patients who are in labor, they should use face mask or cloth face covering is used. Then support persons. What about support persons on labor and delivery? Every patient is accompanied with a attender or support person. So screening before entering the labor unit. All support persons to be screened before entering the labor unit. Support person who is screen positive should not be permitted to come inside the labor unit. Then comes route of delivery. So cesarean delivery is performed for standard obstetric indication only. There is no way or there is no indication of doing cesarean in COVID positive patient, pregnant patient only. Then screening patients scheduled for induction or cesarean section. For elective cesarean or induction, the symptomatic COVID-19 patient testing should be done at least a day before induction or cesarean. Then comes analgesia or anesthesia part. Neuraxial anesthetic like spinal anesthesia or epidural is not contraindicated and has even several advantages in laboring patients. It reduces cardiopulmonary stress from pain and anxiety and in turn viral dissemination. But when GA is considered, special PPE is to be worn for all individual or involved healthcare workers. Then comes management of labor management. Generally, management of labor is not at all altered from normal patients, normal laboring ladies. But since SARS-CoV-2 has not been detected in vaginal secretion or amniotic fluid, we can continue with the normal labor process, and normal labor procedures like rupture of membrane may be performed for usual indication, and pushing in second stage is not to be delayed. The patient is encouraged to push. Delivery procedures as like normal laboring patients, delayed cord clamping has no added benefit regarding transmission of pathogen or virus. American Academy of Pediatrics advises bathing newborn as soon as possible to remove virus potentially present on the surface of skin. Then about postpartum care. Maternal monitoring. Asymptomatic patients. Routine maternal monitoring is done only. For mild patients, check vital signs and monitor intake output at least for 24 hours post vaginal delivery and 48 hours post LSCS. For moderate illness, continuous SpO2 monitoring, lab testing and chest imaging as guided by patient's course. And for severe or critical illness, monitoring is done in ICU unit only. Infant evaluation. Infants of mothers of COVID-19 are considered COVID-19 suspects and they should be tested as soon as possible within 24 hours. They should be isolated from other healthy infants and cared for accordingly. About mother-baby contact. So there are some conditions in which we do temporary separation. Factors to consider regarding temporary separation. The mother's and infant's clinical condition. If the mother is critically ill, we have to definitely apply this temporary separation only. Whether mother infection is suspected or confirmed, if the infant is testing positive for COVID-19, separation is not needed at all. If repeatedly, I am telling you, if the infant's testing report is positive, separation is not needed. Then mother's desire to breastfeed. If the mother is very much willing to breastfeed, we have to give the baby for breastfeeding. Then mother's ability to maintain the separation when she goes home. That is also an important factor. After hospital discharge, mother should maintain, if the mother is ill or febrile, she should maintain a distance of 6 feet from newborn and use face mask and hand hygiene until she is afebrile for more than 72 hours. Then about breastfeeding and formula feeding. Virus is not at all transmitted through breast milk. However, droplet transmission could occur through close contacts. Breastfeeding should be encouraged as part of the routine, as apart from other benefits, breast milk is a passive source of antibodies and other anti-infective factors. Thus, it may provide passive antibody protection to the infant. Precautions must be taken. Precautions to prevent transmission to infants during breastfeeding. For the ladies, they have to wear a mask, hand and breast hygiene strictly to be maintained. Disinfect the shared surface that the symptomatic mother has contacted. Those who have the need for formula feeding, they should have healthy caregiver with all the precautions during feeding. So this is all about pregnancy and COVID-19. Yeah, there is one part of contraception. So permanent contraception or sterilization for vaginal delivery, it is not to be done, as any elective procedure is not to be done. If we are doing cesarean section and the family is complete, we can do bilateral tubal ligation. For sterilization or for contraception, we can take other measures like injectable medroxyprogesterone acetate, or we can use intrauterine devices. So children, this is all about COVID-19 and pregnancy in gist. If you have any query, you can ask me. I am always there to respond to your queries, and if you have any question, you can definitely put your questions to us. Thank you.